Everybody. This is Laura Stinchfield, the pet psychic, and Kim Klein, intuitive counselor. And after some technical difficulties, we are back live talking about intuition. And I'm going to let Kim take it today.
So, hi, sorry about all that messy confusion. I'm just going to jump right in. Your intuition, not everybody's in touch with it. So, if a good example is if you're driving down the street, and this is a very simple example, and you know where you're going, but you're spaced out. You're just in a zone driving, and all of a sudden you realize that you've passed your exit, maybe one, maybe two, whatever it is, you passed it, and you're like, what happened? I drive this every day. So instead of thinking, hey, I'm just an idiot because I forgot where I was going, I spaced out, think there's a reason for this. Some communication was coming into me because I was in a meditative state. Because when you drive and you're spacing out, your waves, your beta waves move to alpha waves and things like that. And your ability to pick up on information, whether you know you're picking up on the information or not, is greater. And so instead of going, that was lame, think, I got saved. Okay, so whatever was going to happen, whatever reason I needed to pass those two exits, that's good. It doesn't matter what the reason was. It doesn't matter if I ever know. But you pass them for a reason. So then you get off and you go the other way and whatever, and everything's good. Things like that, those little teeny things that happen to everybody all the time, they are, I can't say 100% of the time. Some people do just space out for no reason, but a lot of the time, if you think about it, after you realize that, I was relaxed and I just went, and that was a sign. So that's like lesson number 1, how to start acknowledging communications.
And start thinking about like, wait, why did I do that? Or like, why did I pass it? Instead of having that negative self-talk, instead think, well, maybe my higher power, my higher self, or my intuition, or even like a spirit might have helped you, right? To help you guide you in a better direction or take you away. That actually driving thing happens to me a lot. Like I'll be late for something, or I'll get thrown up somewhere. I'll be in the coffee shop and I'll be on line. I'll be like, oh my gosh, this line is so long. And then I'm driving down the freeway later and there's like a big accident. And I think like, oh, thank God. Like that's why I was like stuck in that line in the coffee shop, is so that I didn't get caught up in that accident.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And even if, and you don't have to know it. Like if you went down the freeway or the street and never saw the accident, that's okay, because maybe you not being there made it so there was no accident. Maybe somebody would have been in front of you and behind you, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? But that's important to acknowledge. Okay, thank you for this information.
And that's right. So you may not ever get feedback that you actually made the right decision. You might just be still in the flow, and you're just nothing chaotic did happen.
Exactly. In fact, my main spiritual teacher, he always says, it doesn't matter why, don't even try to figure it out, just be happy.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how your intuition will kick in, and you might think it's just a weird thought, or that I have really a very scary example of knowing and not doing anything about it, and then being kind of stuck in the middle. One day, a number of years ago, I was driving on this freeway, and I always look in my rearview mirrors a lot because I need to know what's going on. I mean, you have to, because what if, like this situation I'm going to tell you about, there was this car that was just ripping and going in and out, and I thought, this car is just driving too crazy. They're going to crash. I know it. I just need to stay away from that car. And I kept watching, and I thought, I'm in this fast lane. Should I go way over? And I thought, no, if I go way over, then I'm changing things around. So maybe I should just stay here. And then as it comes up, it's coming up, and it's next to me, and it's totally speeding, but something happens, and then it starts to like turn and slide next to me. And
oh my gosh,
like, holy crap. And I went to step on the brake, but the car kind of stepped on the brake on its own. Okay. So it's like my car slowed down way more than me just doing it. And it was so obvious. And then that car came and went kind of slide in front of me, and I moved over to the other lane, and I'm like, holy crap, nothing happened. But I thought, why didn't I listen to myself when I saw it coming up way back there? And I thought, well, I questioned myself, do I go to the next lane or not? When that thought said go to the next lane and go to the slow lane, that's the thought I should have listened to.
Yes.
But I was questioning myself. So I had instinct twice. My instinct once was that guy's going to crash, yes. But the instinct for me to get out of the way is the one I blew off. And luckily, I'm going to have to say it was Talia, my daughter, or another guardian who helped me slow down, because that was like a slow down way more than my slowdown.
Yeah, I think those times too of where like we have that intuition of doing something and then we don't do it. And later on, we're like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do that? Right?
Yeah.
I think those are real learning experiences. We can be really mad at ourselves for those, but I also think that they're learning experiences that are placed in front of us that says, oh, okay, next time I hear that voice or next time I have that feeling, I'll know to listen to it and I won't just brush it off. Because a lot of times those like feelings, they're coming in the midst of other thoughts. You could have been thinking about other things. You're driving the car. You could be thinking about where you're going or what you're doing that afternoon. And it's just like this little thought that kind of comes in and then disappears. And you make a mental note of it. And sometimes you don't even really think about it until later on, until after it happened, be like, oh man, I had that thought. So to really take those as learning experiences and then break them down and be like, okay, how did I feel at that instant? Like, what was that like? So that when those little voices come in again or those feelings come in again, you can you can take more attention to them or put more attention to them than you normally would.
Yeah.
So
someone wrote about Wayne Dyer having a similar situation with a flat tire and going to the airport. And that's interesting because I had basically the first time this, my instinct / spirit really kicked me hard to make sure I got this message. I was at the airport and I was in line to board a Southwest, everyone has to line up. And all of a sudden I just started getting instant anxiety. And I have no fear of travel. It's not an issue. And I thought, this is weird. And so I just thought, relax. And I asked myself, or I just asked in general to the spirit world and myself, well, I said, I'm going on this trip. And nothing stopped. And then I said, I'm not going on this trip. And all anxiety just flowed right out of me. I thought, well, that's obvious. I will not ignore this. So I just kind of got out of line and told the person, I'm not coming on this trip, and the airport person, and they said, okay. And I never knew why, ever. Maybe it would have happened.
Right. You may not know why.
Yeah.
You may not know why.
I learned to listen.
Yeah.
That was huge. So since that point, I've been like really aware, listen to my body. And my body reacts to my feelings and senses. Like when I sense things, I feel it. And so, and that feeling is like, is true. Like you can think it might not be true, or you can see it might not be true, but feelings are true.
Your feelings. Yeah. I have a story too about trusting my intuition where I didn't really like follow through. So I got invited to be on a television show called The Doctors. And it was to talk to some of the doctor's pets. And when I was speaking to the woman, I just had a bad feeling about it. I just didn't really want to do it. There was like this part of me. And, at the time I lived in California, I had to drive to LA, which is not a big deal. But I was like, I just don't want to go, I just felt like I just don't want to go. But I'm an introvert. So I thought, maybe I just don't want to go because I just don't want to be put in this situation and be on camera, which I love doing when I have a community of people around me that support me. And I didn't really know these people, but there was something in me. I was like, I just don't want to do it. So, but then the woman who I was talking to, she was like, no, it's going to be great. Don't worry. And so then I said, you know what? I just have this feeling that like that you're just gonna twist it. You're gonna turn it around and twist it, and I don't feel like it's the place for me to like share my talents. For some reason I just feel, and the woman was really nice. I don't think it was her fault, but she was like really convinced me. She's like, no, we would never do that. It's gonna be wonderful. Like you're gonna really enjoy it. So I was like, all right. So she convinced me into doing it. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. And they were paying me a good amount of money. So so I was like, okay, do it. And it's exposure, you know. My brother says no bad publicity is no publicity is bad publicity, even if it's bad, you know. But anyway, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I was driving down there and I got stuck in traffic and I was like, I should just turn around. And then I just felt it. And then when I got to the driveway, I was like, I should just turn around. But I was like, no, I actually called the woman too. And I was like, I'm having second thoughts. She's like, no, it's great. So I went in and I did the session with the doctor, and the doctor was wonderful. Him and his wife were wonderful. The dog was wonderful. There were like so many great jewels in the reading that could have been on TV. I left feeling like so good. I was like, that was awesome. The people were awesome. They were so grateful. Like it was beautiful. Well, when it aired, they twisted it. They made me look horrible. It was like really bad. Like when they put it on air, and I was like, "Oh my god." Like I should have, even though all those people I talked to, my initial instinct, even all the people I spoke to were wonderful. My initial instinct was like, don't do it. And I shouldn't have done it. Like to this day, I remember that, like how strong my instinct was of not doing it. And so I think that's important too. Like when you are presented with an opportunity that could be good for your career, but yet there's a feeling of like, I don't know. You know, that's like with doing business as well, like a contract or something like that.
You know, they probably are innocent. The producers and editors are the ones that completely think that.
Exactly, 100%. The doctor I spoke to was wonderful. Him and his wife were innocent, and also the woman I spoke to that set me up, she was totally innocent. It was
Yeah.
the editors and the producer that ruined it.
So
Yeah,
I
it's too bad.
similar. Way back when I was first doing radio interviews on different talk shows and things about my books and the accident with Talia and things like that. I was set up on an interview with this. It was a 2-person show, like 2 guys, and I thought, you know, 2 guys. It seems more like it's comedy, but I was told by my PR company, yeah, you should do it. So
Oh.
I did the phone interview, and it started out with some serious questions. I thought, okay. Then their questions started getting more lame and sarcastic and kind of jokey. And then I'm just going to say, they turned into big assholes, basically. I don't know if I can put that on YouTube, but
You swear.
and so I was new to the interviews. I thought, if I just hang up, they're going to rip into me. I'll get bad publicity, and people want to know about the books will be like, screw you, blah, blah, blah. But I stayed there long enough. I said, you know, finally, you guys are being completely sarcastic, but this is serious. You might not believe in
It is serious.
communications and,
Yeah.
you know, but my daughter died and she started speaking from the spirit world. If you don't believe it, that's okay. But you probably have readers and listeners, I mean, that want to know more. And you're just blowing it off. And so they were kind of silent. They said, okay, well, thank you. And I'm thinking, thank God this interview's over. But I just was kind of in that spot, hang up on them, kind of tell them off. So I just was nice in what I told them.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Like when you feel like getting out, get out. You don't have to force yourself to stay. I think a lot of times we force ourselves to stay. And I think like as soon as you want that exit, like take that exit.
Yeah.
One of the things too I want to mention is like when you are trusting your intuition, the universe will show you signs. Like you'll start to have synchronicity events that happen in your life. things will start to like just sort of flow around you. Like you've kind of had those days where you're just kind of at the right place at the right time. That's when you know you're trusting your intuition and things are happening and things are like you're feeling like your life is in the flow. There's I just recently took a meditation, did like a little meditation retreat with the Monroe Institute, and they have this like meditation that you do that's healing, and I was doing it for Hudson, right? I was putting Hudson in the healing, but the meditation is that you call in dolphins and you
Oh,
call in like these dolphin energies, which of course, as a pet psychic, I love to call in dolphins in a healing meditation. So like we were doing that, and I was like feeling really good about it. Like this is like really healing, and this is like I could feel the energy. But then when I finished later on, I said to the universe, you know, like give me a sign that like actually works, because I'm trained in healing. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a Dr. Joe Dispenza student. Like I've been trained in healing for a long time. It's just like a different type of healing, like calling in dolphins and having dolphins do it. So I said, so like I always said, said to the universe, okay, I want a sign that this healing like actually works. So the next day, I went to the gym to swim. And at the end, when I was leaving the locker room, I heard this like little voice in my head that told me just to like hang out in the locker room. And I was like, why am I doing this? And I sat down and I was like just scrolling through my phone, like trying to kill time because I was like, something is telling me to stay here. So I'm gonna stay here. And I didn't even really know why. So then I got this feeling of like, okay, you can go now. It was just like a couple minutes. It wasn't like a really long time. So then I come out of the ladies' room locker room and I'm walking through the gym, and there's this guy comes out of the men's locker room and he's wearing a backpack, and in the back of the backpack is a stuffed dolphin.
no.
Like, yes, and it's like huge stuffed dolphin in the back of the backpack. I was like,
That is
"Okay,
so
universe."
such a sign. Who does that?
Yes, 100% sign that like definitely that healing works.
That's
So neat.
amazing. We have some cool comments. So wait, somewhere down there, um, Wendy was responding to Zareth saying something. Maybe when you feel you have something coming in, pause and listen to hear, and that's totally the key.
Mhm.
That's the hard part, though, acknowledging that something's coming in, so that you can pause. So that's like
Yeah.
if you know what's coming in, yes, for sure. Wendy, it's good advice.
But also training yourself to pause, because
Mhm.
in this day and age we are running around, we're looking at our phones, we're looking at our emails, we're looking at social media, we are like constantly going, trying to do as much as we can in a little bit amount of time. And it's really important to be like, okay, it's okay to be still, it's okay to pause. And I really feel like pausing means connecting in with our heart and feeling the energy of our heart. And I've trained myself to do that every few minutes. So
Mhm.
it's like I go to the bathroom, I do it. I get into the car before I start the car, I do it. Or I let the car warm up while I'm doing it. Or like I hear something and I'm like, okay, to stop and listen and to feel like I was saying too, Kim, in the last one where we got cut off, is even when I was like in a difficult conversation with someone and I felt like rushed to give an answer, like I'm on my own time. Like I don't have to rush for anyone really, right? So it's okay to kind of stop and like think. Like in this situation, they were like, we were talking about Hudson's meds, and they were like, so do you want us to give him another antibiotic? Right. And I had to like, okay, like, do I want that? Like, I had to stop and like think for a second. And they're busy. They need me to hurry up. But like I needed to really connect in with myself and be like, okay, is that what I want or is that not what I want? And so it ended up I didn't want them to change it, but that's what I had to like go internally ask. You don't want to give someone an answer just because they're looking for it quickly. I think that's a very important thing for people to realize with their intuition, that you have to give your intuition time to work.
Totally. That's like the best advice. You do need to pause throughout the day. And even moments that you're not thinking you're pausing, like, you consciously do it. But if you're going to the bathroom, why not pause? Why not relax your breath and just see what's coming in? I mean, it doesn't take time. It's just natural. Pausing is natural if you realize that you should pause.
Yeah.
Take a deep
I think,
breath. Go.
yeah, I think animal owners especially need to learn this. And this is just about stillness, because I feel like animal people, or just animals in general, I like to think of animals on the same frequency as nature. And nature is stillness, really. Like even in weather, it still has its own, like, its own flow, right? And I feel like when we are working with animals, it's important that we meet that stillness so that we can interact with them in a calm manner. So I have a friend who's a dog trainer. He's one of the best dog trainers I know, Anthony Sorosky. Give him a shout out. Montecito Dog Trainer is his website. And he is like one of the, like, I love him so much because he can be late for a client, like, which could be me. And he will be like coming in with his van, and he'll have like 7 dogs or something that he's going to take out to work with my pack. And he will want to, like, put those 7 dogs or 3 dogs, whatever it may be, in a sit stay when each one is getting out of the van. Now I got 5 dogs. I'm like late. I'm like, okay, come on, you guys, like hustling them, like, let's go. And he's like, he doesn't care he's late, because he's like on that peaceful island time, kind of. But that's what the animals need. And that's really what we need. And so it's like, really, like, what are we rushing? Because if he's late, I can be sitting there and I can be working my dogs. Like, that can also be part of it. Like, they're in the sit stay. If we train, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because also it's a pet psychic podcast, right? But if we train ourselves to stop and to think and to be calm, then we can teach our animals to do that. And that's really important for the animals. The animals need that so much because they feed off our anxiety and our rushing.
That's really good advice. And I need to take that advice myself for one of my macaws that is so sweet, but then she's so energetic that she's a maniac. And when I want to go get her to put her into the cage for lunch or whatever, she'll just fly away. If I go, she'll bite because she's like, no, I'm not going in. And it's not that she's a bad bird. She's a great bird, but she's just working off me going, okay, get in the cage quick. I got to get you lunch. And then I'm leaving the house and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So,
You can't rush.
No, can't rush.
You just can't.
I think domesticated animals excluded, I think the animal world and all of nature are in 100% touch with the spirit and the energy of the universe.
Why do you say domestic animals excluded?
I don't think that they're not. I think in some cases they're not. They are. Okay, so I think domesticated animals are in touch with their instinct, part of that universal field. But when they're given things, there's a tiny bit of taking them out of their instinct in the wilderness when they're your dog and your cat and your bird, that disconnects them a tiny bit, so they wouldn't be able to live in the woods. Like if my birds flew away, they would die.
They wouldn't, but I think they're way more connected than we are, than what we think, to the natural world and to that flow, and we screw them up.
Exactly. That's why I say domesticated.
But yeah, their disconnection is us.
Our fault.
It's not them.
No,
yeah. Because if we got connected, they would be connected.
Yeah, because the more connected we are, the more we'd interact with them properly so that everybody's connected.
Exactly.
No, totally. We're the only ones out there that is cut off And it
Yeah.
takes work to become connected.
Um, there's this question here. I'm struggling to differentiate. This is from Wendy's. Intuition, gut feeling, and natural reaction. Sometimes when you act on instincts, it's without thought and negative.
Mm.
Afterthought makes you realize it. Um, that's a tough one. I think that one kind of goes back to also like learning to pause and learning to like stop yourself and connecting with your heart before you react. I mean, a lot of people who have been abused or have been around anger, who are in that fight or flight response, will then do something that's their like fight or flight, right? And so that might be coming like through that, like your intuition might be tricking you into
Uh,
thinking, like your nervous system is tricking you into thinking it's a flight or fight situation. But that's why training yourself to go back into that heart and to feel the peace within and to take a moment to stop and then react. And
it,
so yeah, and I actually train the animals that all the time because the animals can be aggressive, right? And react. They can like bite us or bark or lunge. And so I'm constantly teaching them. And in the animal world, and it's in our world too, they have calming signals, which are blinking of the eyes, looking away, licking, yawning, stretching. So those are just a few of them. But we can do those too, kind of turn back into yourself, breathe, like tell yourself, I'm going to breathe 3 times, I'm going to feel my heart before I make a decision. And it's anyone, I would say 90 something percent of the population is in fight or flight. So don't be hard on yourself that happens. Just use it as a learning experience and be like, okay, I reacted there. Did I take the time to think? Was I really in a calm centered place when I was thinking, when I made that decision? And you'd probably figure out you weren't. You probably realize you were in some state of anxiety.
so I think it was Wendy that asked, well, how do you tell the difference between you wanting something and it being your instinct? And that's hard because when you want something, you still have the part of you, that's called ego, but not like bragging ego, the part of your mind that does its own thing. And kind of it's what filters out the spiritual communication. So if you want something, you might actually be getting a sign that's not a sign. So that's a hard thing to do. It's really hard to decipher. Am I getting an answer that I want, or am I getting an actual communication? Which I
Yeah.
think.
I say when in doubt, do nothing.
Yeah.
Because if you do want something really badly, the universe is going to you're kind of manifesting that into the outer world. And so the universe might give you, I think we've talked about this before in the signs, when like someone really likes another person and they want that person to really like them, right? Like that's like the best example of it. So like I had this one woman who was like, this is an example of like something that happened to her. She was like obsessed about this one guy, and she would say to the universe, give me a sign that he loves me. But she's creating this image in her life about like him loving her. So then the universe gave her a heart-shaped cloud. Doesn't mean that the guy loves her. It just means that she's like has put love so much out into her
Mhm.
heart that the universe is showing that back to her, but it's not necessarily about that guy. And if you have to like constantly be like, universe, show me, show me, show me, that's your sign that something is wrong, that you're not calm within yourself, that you
Mhm.
need to kind of sit back and be like, okay, maybe I need to give it more time, maybe I need to wait and just let it settle and then see how I feel. I just for fun, I read a deck of cards, and it's like kind of like the old gypsies did, it's just like a regular deck of cards. I don't do it for clients or anything, just for fun and for my friends. And I've noticed with myself that if I'm attached to an outcome, right? So, like, let's say I'm making this up, right? But let's say I say something like, is Hudson gonna like get a I'm freaking out, right? And I say like, is Hudson gonna get an infection, right? And I'm like, then I go there and I go to read the cards. The cards are gonna say he's gonna get an infection. But if I go, is Hudson gonna be okay? He's gonna heal. Is Hudson gonna heal? Then I'm gonna see in the cards that he's gonna heal. So I need to go in with a centered, okay, I'm connecting with spirit. I'm open. I don't know what the outcome is. And then I lay the cards. Then I'm
Exactly.
gonna see more of what I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
So really it's all in our ability to go back to our heart. And really, Joe Dispenza, the Heart Math Institute, they would all call that brain heart coherence. So it's really important to find that brain heart coherence. Easter has to go pee really badly. I don't know if you guys could hear her barking.
Oh,
Barking at the door. Sorry, Easter. You just got to hold it for a little bit.
So Wendy said, do you all believe that you can influence your intuition? Well, that's exactly it. Your desires, they influence what you think is your intuition.
What you think is your intuition, not your intuition, what you think
Exactly.
is your intuition.
Your intuition is going to be true. It's just whether it gets filtered and you pick up on it.
Yep.
Do you want to take Easter to pee?
Easter and Hudson have to go. So you're just like, that's quite a, it's not a slow. Hudson's injury makes him pee like it's just a slow. We go out, we pee. So I'll be gone for a little bit. What should I do? Maybe we should.
We can
I know
continue
we
this
haven't
week.
been talking that long, but yeah, maybe we could continue this another time. I hate to leave because my dogs have to pee.
Well, they're telling you
What?
they
Yeah,
have
they're
to
telling
pee.
me they have to go. Yeah. Okay, so what should we do?
I guess we can continue. And thank you guys. You had some really good comments and questions. Really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Sarah said, wait with me, but I think it takes a lot longer for those guys to go pee.
I mean, you can hold, you want to
You
hold
want
it
to?
for a second? Yeah, and I'll take them out real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go through some of these questions for a second. I think that when you say, I want something, so saying I want this or that, and then having it interfere with what you think your intuition's telling you. Somebody mentioned about like affirmations, wanting something, you're just going to get back something that you're not going to get back what you want. You're going to get back, yes, we know you want it. So if you're thinking, I really want this, give me a sign, you're just going to get back, I really want this, here's a sign. So changing your question to be less focused on yourself and more what the universe actually is trying to give will open it up to a message that will get through the ego filter. So, because when you want it and you're looking for the signs, your intentions are going out, the energy, I want, give me the sign that you want. Okay, ego filter, the real answer is not coming through. Universe, if this is what's best for me, and if this is what is going to be best for everything and everyone, send me that. So then the universe will send you, this is what's best for you. This is what you should have, etc. And your ego filter isn't going to come up. Your ego filter is going to say, oh, well, you're not asking for something for yourself, really. You're asking for what's good for the universe. So my ego is just going to sit to the side, and the signs and answers that will come from the universe to your intuition will be more true. I mean, you still have to learn how to interpret them to know if, okay, that was a sign and that was a feeling in my body. But that answer will be truer if you're not really connected to the outcome. So the world and the universe will give what's best for the whole. Asking more of a selfish request turns on your ego filter. And that's very hard to learn to not do. That's one of the biggest lessons there is when learning to be more in touch with your intuition and with the spirit world. Is that ego filter will pop up all the time. So they feel better now.
They feel better. Yeah. Sorry, it takes so long because Hudson's got to be on leash and everything.
Oh, it was nothing.
I couldn't hear you, unfortunately, because I got too far away.
It was really cool.
Sure it was.
I was just saying that if you ask a question that's more self-centered, like I want this, your ego filter will filter and give you the answers that you want, not what is actually real. If you formulate the question or the desire, what's best for the whole or what's best for the situation, your ego won't feel threatened and it will step to the side and the filter will not be there. And the true answers from the universe will come. And then it's just a matter of you understanding them.
Yeah. And that ability to go blank, that ability to go. Yeah.
That's the
It
hardest.
really is a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior, just like, okay. And like people say, like, I mean, we think so. You're never really going to be like lack of thought, but that stillness of like, because otherwise it can't come in, right? If you don't have that emptiness.
It might be, but you don't know it's there. It's like messing with like the multiple radio stations all staticky.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting. I think when I was first learning it still happens still. Sometimes if I'm really relaxed, I surrender and I pause. When it actually happens, sometimes I'm so amazed that it happened that I snap out of it. So it's taken some work to not think, wow, it just happened. Just to be in that happening. That's not easy.
Right. There's this is kind of on like the fear thing, you know. There's a book by Gavin DeBecker called The Gift of Fear. I think everyone should read it. He taught like the Navy SEALs and a lot of the military, the police force, and a lot of battered women and things like that. And he talks about like paying attention to the fear that comes up, and that's a little bit different. Like when I say calmness, because you want to be calm. But that fear that he talks a lot about that fear that we talk ourselves out of. And he has this one example in his book. I might be off a little bit on the exact example, but it was like this, that there was a woman in a really nice hotel and she was getting into an elevator and she saw a very well-dressed, handsome man in the elevator. And she had the feeling like she shouldn't get in. But she talked herself out of it because she said, okay, I'm not gonna, like, I'm in a nice hotel. He's like, looks like a nice man. Like, why wouldn't I get in? Well, he ended up raping her. And so it's like little things like that where you like, there's this like feeling of like, you could easily talk yourself out of it too. That is so important to listen to. It's so important to listen to.
Virginia asked a question. If I ask, give me a sign I'm going in the right direction, is that being selfish? No, because the right direction, you're asking the universe, and the universe is going to be open to you going in the right direction. Whatever the right direction is, the universe knows. So they'll give you a sign. That's not selfish. If you say, am I going in the direction I should go in order to get that, whatever. That's pushing the limit on, maybe a little more selfish, but not totally. Now, am I going this way in order to get that, win the lottery, whatever? The more selfish it is, the more the filter goes on. So I don't think, am I going in the right direction is going to interfere with anything.
No, me neither. Yeah. Also, you can just tell you're going in the right direction by the way your life is panning out. If you have a lot of chaos in your life, something's wrong. Like if you have a lot of drama going on in your life, like there's stuff going on with your inner self that you need to work on. It's not the outer world that's creating that drama. It's your inner world. So the more calm your inner world is, the more your outer world is going to be in sync. And that's something to really focus on. And sometimes we are put in with chaos because we are going out of one frequency and going into another one. So sometimes when we are changing our life for the better, we'll see chaos around us because everything's kind of breaking away. Like people we shouldn't be hanging out with are breaking away. So we'll have drama with them while we let them go and move to a higher frequency. Or like same thing with work. If there's something, if you're at a job that you shouldn't be at, you might get fired or something because it's not the right frequency for you, and you're changing your frequency and moving up into a better one. And so you have to trust that something better is going to come in. So that can happen. But if you're getting in like car accidents and a lot of people are yelling at you and people are fighting with you, and there's like, it seems to be going on everywhere in your life, then something's off. And that will happen even to me. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty conscious of my thoughts, but that will happen to me where I'm just like, man, this week was bad. Like, or these couple of days were bad. Like, what was going on? Like, I'm not in the flow. And then I have to look at, okay, like, what is my inner talk? Like, what am I saying? Like, am I like I have personally like used to love like horror movies, and like I can go dark really fast. So like I can be like something bad is going to happen, and I have to really be conscious of that I'm not like living in a Stephen King novel. And like be like, okay, like I got to get back on track, and I got to start like doing my meditations or like doing something, that gets me back in the flow. Felix wants to come up in the chair.
It's interesting. Like in Kabbalah, when you come across or you find yourself in the middle of like just chaos or a situation that's giving you stress and it's just really hard and it's asking you to do whatever that's not natural, you need to pay attention to that, because that is a lesson. And so the lesson could be walk away. And but you think, what's my natural reaction? My natural reaction, is it to scream out the window at the person who cut me off? Or is it, and if it is, not screaming is what you should do. And then you actually, that's a teeny step. You actually progressed in your going up the spiritual ladder / raising your frequencies. So everything that's agitates you or is interfering with something, look at it and think, what's my natural reaction normally to that? Take a step back and think, okay, I'm going to do, I can't say necessarily the opposite, but I'm going to react differently, or I'm not going to react, or I'm going to leave, whatever. And that is a lesson. And those are the lessons that we come here to learn, whatever they are for us. And the sooner you start learning them, the sooner you're going to learn more advanced lessons, the sooner you're going to be really high up on the progression of your spiritual learning. And if you want to go all the way out there, when you go back to the spirit world, you'll have less things to come back to learn. So just think about that. Like, this was a horrible situation, like the worst thing on the planet. Nothing could be worse than when my daughter was killed in a plane. Aww. And I will never, ever think it's hard to separate. I wish it never happened. And of course, and knowing, well, there's some sort of a lesson. And when to understand the lesson is one thing. Doesn't mean I'm not sad. I don't miss her. I wish it didn't happen. But I understand what it did for me. And I understand the lessons I'm learning because of that, from her and from other sources. So even the worst, like there's that book and everyone talks about it, when bad things happen to good people. What's going on here? When bad things happen to good people, I think that's a normal question to ask. Why me? And if you look at it going into like standard religions, they're going to blame you. Like there's something. But in reality, a bad incident and how you react is a good spiritual lesson. I mean, it sounds horrible, but it is.
Yeah. And that, like, some things we are brought in here to learn, and it's nothing that you did in your life that created that.
Right.
You didn't. Yeah. It's not like bad karma or anything. It's just a lesson that you and Talia came in here to learn together.
Yeah, and anybody who has, if your animal passes, that's a
Yeah.
lesson. I mean,
It's a
there's
lesson, yeah. Or if they die young, that's a
yeah,
lesson. Mhm.
exactly. It is, and everything's a lesson if it hits you. If something hits you and you think about it, think why you're thinking about it, because there's
Yeah.
some sort of lesson there.
And to really believe that the universe is not cruel. I mean, I truly believe that. Like I truly believe the universe is not cruel. Like if something traumatic is happening, something good is going to come at the end of it. Like you're going to grow, you're going to be a better person, or like a miracle is following it, like something is going to happen. I just don't think the universe is cruel.
Yeah. So I think the universe is neutral, and it's how we take the energy of the universe and what we
It's
do with
true.
it and how we interpret it. We either interpret it positive or negative, but we should live in the neutral until.
Although I may disagree with you a little bit like that than that. Because if we think of what we resonate out of our heart as being our universal frequency, there is a neutral, but the higher you go, the better you're going to feel and the more you're going to attract in. So I want to feel in my life like I'm living at a high frequency and getting a lot of love, giving love and getting a lot of love back. So it's not just neutral.
No, but my neutral that I believe gets higher. Okay, so every lesson. So if you living neutral means you're not like, I'm going to put it with like, this is a weird psychological example, manic depressive. So let's just say manic is like woo and depressing. So that negative, and manic's not necessarily positive, but I'm going to use it as a positive. In the middle is where your energy is centered. Okay,
True.
so you live in the centered energy.
Yeah.
When things come in, you can interpret it
Yeah.
the best way for you. And when you do that lesson, then you move up a rank, like a ladder.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're not living in neutral, like you're not living
Yeah.
good and
I
giving
agree with you.
a different kind of
I
neutral.
I agree with you. So I think of the way we live is like a frequency on a radio dial. Okay. And we all have a set frequency on the radio dial. The higher the frequency, the higher on the radio dial, the more connected to heaven or to spirit or to our inner selves, right? The lower on the radio dial, the more we're connected to fear and unworthiness and anger and resentment and illness, whatever it may be. And so we are all somewhere on that radio dial and we have a set pattern and we oscillate day by day a little bit higher and then a little bit lower and then we set that frequency. I want my set frequency, my default frequency, I want it high.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
I have to train myself to like create it high, to be high on that frequency, right? Because like
yeah.
when I'm not manifesting things in my life, it's lower on that radio dial. That's me. That's my faults, right?
It's interesting because I had a vision and a meditation where I was actually kneeling at a tree, and the tree had on it the radio tuners, and
Oh,
it was,
cool.
yeah, and I was turning them up higher so I can hear what the tree or what the spirit was giving me. It was like higher frequency, higher, higher, higher. It
Yes,
wasn't
which
volume,
is
it was
so true.
it was
Yeah,
amazing.
which is so true because that is how, I mean, that's how I teach you how to talk to animals or deceased people,
Yeah,
right? Or animals, you are higher on the frequency. You have to get out of your gut, get out of the depression and sadness, resentment, fear, whatever it may be, and into the love and creation and hope and wonder, whatever it may be. You get up into the heart, and then from there you connect in with spirit, and that the tree is really amazing because the tree is grounds you, right? So you're grounded in your body, you're
mhm.
grounded in and solid, but then you're also connected to spirit. I mean, that's perfect.
So Zareth said something that is so amazing. He says, I see wings behind Laura and a halo over Kim. That's
Oh, how cool is
so,
that?
I wish I could see that.
I love that.
Love it too.
Thank you.
You know what's interesting, and this is has nothing to do with intuition. I was I was at our club one day for a dinner, and I looked into the window that went from inside the dining room to the outside, and the reflection of the table, and I was sitting there, and one of the people reflected in the window completely morphed, just absolutely in front of my eyes, morphed into Talia, into my daughter,
Oh,
sitting there.
so beautiful.
With her sitting there looking at her iPhone, that it morphed.
Oh,
And I was like, oh my God, did you hear about like windows
oh,
and things like that? And I was actually able to take a picture of that window, and I have that
oh,
picture.
neat.
It was
Oh my
so
God.
mind blowing.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Love it.
You're right, the 100 monkeys. That's a really good example that I use to tell people every
I don't
little.
know the 100 monkeys. I don't know what that is.
So the 100 monkeys is, and I might get the story a little off, but basically there was this island that had a certain kind of monkeys, and then there were monkeys on the mainland, and they didn't know each other, and so the monkeys on the island, they would eat the potatoes or something, and one of the monkeys went, this potato is disgusting and dirty, so we went into the water and washed it, and then the other monkey saw and said, oh, I'm going to wash that potato or whatever. And then all the island monkeys started to do that. And when the 100th monkey washed its potato, the monkeys on the mainland started washing their potatoes too.
Oh, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
Isn't
that amazing? Because that's like you're putting it out into the universe, you're putting that out and they're picking it up. Yeah. It makes total sense.
Yeah. It's like when two people completely don't know each other, but they invent the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Yeah.
It's a butterfly effect. It's concentric rings. It's all the same, just termed differently.
Love it.
I know. Some good interaction today.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Seeing if there's anything else really.
So, is there any other questions? And then we'll end for today.
Thank you guys for all these cool questions and comments.
I know.
I love the
fun.
vision.
This is pretty much what Kim and I do when we talk on the phone. So it's kind of fun to do it with you guys.
It is. It's totally great. Because we talk to each other all the time and we answer our own questions. It's nice answering your questions.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. Okay, Edna says she posted a question about. Let's look for Edna's question. Then we'll make this our last question. Do you see it?
Not yet, not yet. Edna, will you repost it?
Yeah, I know. We don't see it, so.
Coming out as an animal communicator to others. Oh, that's a good one for you. Oh, and is there a book to help direct us open up? Do you want to answer, Edna, about how you came out as an animal communicator?
What is this? I don't see her question, though.
I don't.
Regarding it's just this regarding coming out as an animal communicator to others. What? I don't know the actual question though, Edna. So I can tell you my process of coming out as an animal communicator to others. So I was studying animal communication. I was also studying the Tellington Touch and animal training. And so I was animal training and doing the Tellington Touch. I was also doing Reiki on animals, and I owned a pet sitting dog walking business, successful one in Montecito, California. And I started just doing it for those clients that I had. And I actually had to be in a separate room with a pen and a paper than my actual client. And then I would read to my client maybe like a quarter of what I actually got because I was so nervous to trust it all. So really, just my advice when you're coming out as an animal communicator is just get tons of practice so that you feel confident. You feel confident to know that like what you're getting is coming from the animal, not from you. You just really have to learn yourself about like what's coming from you, what's coming from the other animal, what's coming from the other person in the room. I mean, there's so many different sources, and you just really want to learn how to, decipher them all. You need to have feedback from people. So you need to talk to other people, talk to other people's animals and get feedback, and then tell them to give you feedback in a week or two, because some people, and do it with people who are really open and who can work with you. And you can do that with your intuition too, or any psychic ability, but it's really important to talk to each other about it. And then just do it. Just do it, and you can put yourself out there professionally, if you want, if you feel confident, just trust yourself. And it takes time. Like, I mean, it just takes a lot of, for me, it took a lot of time to be like, to feel really confident of like making a website, let's say, you know, but
Someone asked about a book, Loyalty to Your Soul by Ronald Hulnick. I just had to look it up because I forgot the exact title. I loved that book. I read it so long ago, but it's still deep in me, and I recommend that book. Start with that. And
cool.
there's another book that
And
gave
my
me,
book, you could read my book.
yeah,
Voices
duh.
of the Animals. I mean, it's not all about intuition, but there is a lot of that in there about teaching you how to trust your intuition. Yeah, that's
Totally.
Voices of the Animals. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
start with Laura's and that other one.
yeah, and Kim, you have a book too. And then like Hay House is a really great place to start too. Hay House has a lot of great authors that talk about their intuition.
Yeah. So the books of mine that are Talia's, the Universe Speaks, a Heavenly Dialogue. There's book 1, book 2, or you can get it as Universe Speaks, a Heavenly Dialogue, the collection. That's the dialogue between Talia from the spirit giving us all these lessons, what what heaven's like, how to live your life authentically. That book doesn't actually like give you step by step, but it tells you where you can feel it, like feel deep, surrender to the silence. And I've had many people let me know that they didn't believe in spirit communication, but as they read through her book and the dialogues that she gave, all of a sudden they started hearing. And when that happens, you realize, oh, that's what it feels like to hear, and it helps. So her book would probably help a lot just for a general understanding of the spirit world and how to live. But the hummingbirds don't fly in the rain. That's just a story of what happened. That wouldn't teach anything really. I mean, you'd feel the story.
Yeah.
Yes, I would start with Laura's
Kim's
book.
books are great. They're good. They're great. Cheering each other on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
you guys. Yeah, thank you. So next week I'm actually at this time I'm a guest on someone else's podcast. And I don't know if that's live or not. If it is, I will post that on my social media so you can see that. And then Kim and I will talk about maybe doing this at another time next week. But it won't be 2:00. But then from then on, we'll go back to the 2:00 Eastern. Okay.
Well, have a good day, everyone.
Yeah. Have a good day. Thanks for joining us. You all be well.
Bye.
Don't know how to. Bye, everybody.
Time I count my blessings, I count you first. Every time I count my blessings,